If writing dialogue is not your strong suit, I'm going to give you 4 potential red flags that you might be able to spot in your books. I love you. If you are new to the channel, hi, my name's Char and I run the Plottery. And I like to talk about some writing tips and tricks and things that I learn and things that I pick up. Because I'm also an editor and I'm a coach. So I do work with manuscripts a lot, and I have a master's degree in creative writing and a passion for knowledge. So I like to share the knowledge, and I'm glad that you're here with me. And today we are going to, maybe if my dog lets me, talk about some dialogue. So let's just jump straight into it. What are the 4 telltale signs that you might be not writing great dialogue? Let's find out. Welcome to the Plottery. If you stick with me, I'll show you how to plant the seeds of motivation and grow to find your purpose as an author as we plot our way to unlock the childish joy for writing that I know you have. The first telltale sign is repetition and explanation. Now, this tends to happen with writers who are insecure and they don't trust their readers to understand what it is that they mean. So you might be unsure about your own writing skills and whether you have the ability to actually tell your readers what you want to tell them. So you end up repeating things and you end up explaining yourself. And so the best way to kind of pick up on this is to see whether you are repeating the same things in dialogue as you already said in internal monologue or in description. The next sign of sort of amateurish cringe dialogue writing is having character voices that are just too similar. So what you want to avoid is having all of your characters sound exactly the same. This does get tiring after a while, and it kind of ruins the connection that your reader could have had with your characters if you had put a little bit of extra work into their character voices. So what I like to think about when creating unique character voices is 4 different things, and this is, can I remember? Maybe. Their tone, their rhythm, their personality, and their vocabulary. Yes, I remember them. Okay, those 4 things are things that I would like you to think about when you're creating your next character voice. Try to make sure that they're all different. Oh, and I have this really neat trick that I use sometimes to make sure that all of my characters are sounding different. And that is to do this little test writing exercise where you put your characters into the same situation. So some kind of conflicting situation. For example, they're at a restaurant and the waitress brings them the wrong thing. Do that exercise and try to respond to it from each one of your characters' point of views. So what exactly are they going to say? What is the dialogue that they'll tell the waitress after she brings them the wrong thing? Do that for all of your characters and you will see whether they are all sounding exactly the same or whether there is some variety there. If you come up with variety and all of your characters sort of answer differently, then you know you're on the right track and you are fleshing out your characters as you should be. The third telltale sign is monologuing in dialogue. I read this sometimes actually really often where a lot of the dialogue is just really, really long. So back and forth, you're just having, character A monologues something and they're speaking for half a page, and then the next character responds to them and they speak for another half a page. And that's just not how conversations work. It might sometimes be, but really that is monologuing, that is not dialoguing. I like that. I'm going to coin that expression. That is not dialoguing. What you want to do, and this is something that I always do for all of my writing. It might not resonate with you, but for me, I never allow my dialogue lines to have more than 2 or 3 sentences at most. Unless they're written for the actual purpose of being a monologue or being something that, being a theme that the character gets stuck into a little bit deeper. But yeah, that is my rule. That is something that I follow, and I've found it really handy to break up dialogue and to make it flow a little bit more like a back and forth, so it's not just one character talking and talking and talking and then the other one talking and talking and talking. We don't want that. We want to see the back and forth. We want to see the dynamic. It really creates better pacing and it reads so much easier for your readers in general. Okay, I just realized that I'm actually giving you 5 telltale signs and not 4 of them, because I think I said that I was going to give you 4 of them earlier, but I'm actually giving you 5. So hey, little bonus gift. Whee! The next sign that your dialogue might be sounding unrealistic is the lack of emotional subtext. Yes. Do your characters always know exactly what they want to say and exactly how they are feeling? Because this is a pretty good sign that your dialogue is just unrealistic. Most of us don't ever know what the hell we are feeling until like years after. So your characters shouldn't be psychoanalyzing themselves, and they shouldn't be fully aware of everything that they are constantly feeling. And they really shouldn't be like truthful and transparent with other characters. And I'm not saying that your characters need to lie to each other per se, but I am saying that they should dance around the subject, and they should not be outright with everything. There should be some space there for interpretation, because we are not always completely truthful, and we are not always completely because we as humans are not always straightforward. We are pretty much never straightforward, okay? Like, if you are angry and somebody asks you how you are feeling, I am 99% certain that you're gonna say, fine. Is that not what we do? Like, that's what we as humans do. We are always like passive aggressive. We are dancing around the subject. We are not quite open about how we are feeling in the moment. So neither should your characters be. Ultimately, I think what that sort of makes you feel as a reader is that you become very aware that this is a written book, and that it is written by an author, and that that author commands what these characters feel. So they're telling you what the characters feel, and that can just feel like, oh my god, this book is being dumbed down for me. And that's not what you want your readers to feel. That's the last thing that you want your readers to feel. You don't want them to feel dumb. You don't want them to feel like, you know, you're just telling them everything, that you're not letting them have the space to analyze that character's emotion. The last piece of advice I have for you is maybe the most practical one, and it is about having static conversations. So this is a nice little trick that I like to use in my own writing to liven up the scene a little bit. I'll introduce subplots, I'll introduce props and things that my characters can be interacting with, or things that they could be doing while they are actually having their conversation. So you don't want to just have them act like The Sims. If you've ever played the game The Sims, you know that when The Sims talk, they'll usually just like stand and they'll face each other directly head on, and they'll just talk. And that'll be it. What you want is for your characters to actually be moving around the scene and interacting with props and I don't know, doing things. And you can introduce really intricate subplots when you do this sort of thing. So potentially, I think in my book, I use this is the first thing that comes to mind, but I had like a conversation that was really like deep and romantic and emotional and quite vulnerable, but it was done while the characters were washing dishes. So one of them was washing, the other one was drying the dishes. And you can kind of start to weave in little subplots about, like, you know, one of the characters smashes the dish back into the sink when they get angry, and then the other one picks it up, and then the other one finishes it off, and you know, you can just sort of start to create these dynamics for your characters that you wouldn't get the chance to create if they were just standing and staring at each other and not doing anything while they are actually talking. So that's a hot tip if you want to introduce a little bit more dynamics into your scenes. I highly recommend thinking about what is an interesting setting that your characters could be having this conversation in, and what is an interesting situation. So like, what could they be doing while they are having this conversation? Could they be doing something that is really odd that you wouldn't think that they would be having a conversation while doing that? Like, for example, they could be on a roller coaster, or they could be in a canoe or something like that. Just get crazy with it and see how that impacts your scene, and if that brings any new ideas. And I think the one thing that you'll notice is that it will immediately liven up any scene that you are trying to write. So, hot tip, my favorite tip for dialogue is to try doing that. Try making your scenes more dynamic, less static talking like Sims heads. I have actually come up with 10 really easy to use methods to write dialogue in a more realistic and engaging way. And these are available in my soft plotting program. If you don't know what that is, it is basically a 1-year live program where I take you through the beginning stages of your project to actually finish the whole novel in a year. And you get a bunch of courses and templates and all these things for learning and a community. And it's like the best thing that I've ever done, basically. Not to toot my own horn, but you know what I mean. And if you would like to join that, the doors are currently closed, but they will be opening again soon. So if you want to be the first to make sure that you snatch a spot for the next time that we open the doors, there will be a waitlist link open in the description box below, which you can join, and then you will be the first one to get an email whenever we have a spot available for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you would like to watch another video, I have one that you might really like, and you will see it on the screen just now, and I will see you there. Bye!